Well, hello, and welcome back. I'm AJ O'Neill, and I'm going to be your Beyond Code liver for today. So what we're going to do is, let me bring this screen over here, is I'm just going to make some updates to @root_path, which is a module that I created the other day because we were having this discussion about path.join and how unsafe it is on JavaScript Jabber, and how there might be certain edge cases where just checking for a dot dot doesn't work. Now, I don't know if those edge cases actually exist, but I figured regardless, for the things that I do, I often just implement a safe path function over and over again. I thought, I ought to just create this for myself and publish it as a module. And so I did. And there's just a couple of things that I want to update. And then I'll go over actually what it is. I'll probably split this and do a little clappy thing or something in the middle, and then publish this actually on the README itself, that bit of it. So I'm going to go through and add the changes that I want to make first. So first of all, let's go ahead and let's see what branches we have here. Okay, I'm going to do the little main thing, and I am actually going to go, I'll leave master there because it makes sense, because I want people to be able to continue to link to it, so there's no point in deleting it. But I have been slowly switching over my stuff to main, not for the politics, but just because it's, the way things are going, and simpler is better. So default branch, let me go ahead and, git push -u origin main. All right, there we go. And I actually don't want to rename. I don't want to rename. I don't want to rename it. Leave it where it is. There we go. Yeah. Because I understand. Yeah. Okay, so there we go. Got that one done. That's just a little housekeeping. Now, what I wanted to do was in here, basically there's just three functions that I'm overriding. So there's path, a join, resolve, relative, and then I did this little promises bit. Oh, okay, cool. I already did that. So I actually like that a lot. And we're also going to do, then I wanted to add unsafe and have unsafe be just path for each of these things. There we go. And then same thing here. I wanted to have there to be a path.unsafe equals, and then just put each of these. This is just for convenience so that I don't have to require two path modules. I can have the safe one and the unsafe one for when I need it. And then I also thought about doing a strict, which would check for absolute paths, not just normalized paths. The difference being you could have a symlink that so you could have a symlink that points to a directory outside of the base directory. And if that's the case, maybe we should just throw an error if there's a symlink somewhere in the path that ends up being outside the target directory. So I don't know if I want to add that right now or not. I'm trying to think what consequences this would have. I kind of want to see, let's do function create here, and then let's do like this maybe. Let's see, how could we do this? I'm just trying to think this one through. Okay, so could we do equals create path resolve join? We have lowercase path. Yeah, there we go. What if I just save this? Okay, now everything's indented a bit. And then I could just say, well, can I just say? Where do we use this? So that would be outside of here. All right. So that works. That works, I guess. And then I could create it with options. Say ops. Well, really just strict, right? Strict. O ops equals like this. Sure. Whatever. Anyway, we can have this create function that creates path. And then, is this going to work? Maybe. Let's try this. Like that? I don't know if I like that. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm making it too complicated at this point. But what I wanted to do was have the ability to pass in an option, say strict. And if it's strict, then it doesn't just run normalize. Let's see, normalize child. So here it's doing resolve. So I don't think resolve does absolute paths. Let me check on this. Node.js path resolve. No. Go to the Node.js docs. Don't take me to some blog. Take me to the real deal. Okay. Is absolute. Normalize, resolve. Do we have an absolute? Huh. We have an is absolute. Does resolve go absolute? Absolute. I don't think this is, I don't think this works. I don't think this works the way that we think it would. I don't think this is actually checking to see, this is just looking at the string to see if the string looks like an absolute path. Into an absolute, see, they're lying here. They're saying absolute path. Maybe what I'm looking for is canonical. Maybe absolute's not the right word. Or absolute path of the current working directory. Canonical. Links. I don't know. This seems like it would actually be something that would be in FS, not in path. So let me go over here and check to see. Do we have something here that's like read link or absolute or resolve? Read link, real path. Let's go to real path. Okay. Okay. Determines the actual location of paths. Only paths that can be converted into UT8 strings are supported. Okay. Okay, what's the difference between these two? Real path versus real path native. Let's see, path options encoding, path options encoding. What is this? Options arguments. Does not have this restriction. Okay, behaves like real path with some exceptions. Notes case conversions performed on case-insensitive file systems. Okay, maximum number of symbolic links is platform independent and generally much higher what the native real path implementation supports. Okay, so I think we do want realpath.native, which is what the promises one is. Great. Okay, so it's not just, yeah, so it'd be fs.realpath would be, so it'd be something like this. If strict, throw error. Strict mode is not supported. That would make any sense. That'd be bad. So what we would need instead of a dot promises is we would need a sync, which would be confusing. So yes, I've now voted that this is too complex for what I want to do right now. I'm going to abandon this idea. And we're going to go back to the original. So I'm just going to put a little like to-do or something. Have a v2 that's promises by default and that uses real path. All right. So I've got my unsafe in there. I've got my promises in there with its unsafe. And then I just need to update the README. So note v1.x does not check fs.realpath to resolve symbolic links. It is not advisable to use this if you have, okay, you probably know if you're using symbolic links. So if you're using potentially dangerous symbolic links, you need to check fs.realpath yourself. Okay, and do I not have, what was that one that I was just working on, was UUID? Let's get the prettiers over here. Okay, cool. Boom. All right. And really, path.unsafe should have all of the originals as well. So let me rethink this strategy. Path.js. So I have the unsafe here. Where's unsafe? So what I probably should do is actually this right here. but right here. So keys of path, path.unsafe. Those are all going to be the same. And then I've got my promises, and I'm going to need to do the same thing here. So I'm going to have to do path.promises.unsafe equals async function. I don't know that I like this. Let me think about how to go about this. Because I don't want to have a closure there. Dangling. Unsafe. But maybe I need one. Let's see. Think it's like that? And okay, I've got this down here that it shouldn't have. None of this should be there. All right, so that's probably about as good as it needs to be. Now I've promisified everything, provided an unsafe version as well. It's promisified. The main reason I'm promisifying is not because it's async, but it just allows you to use .catch instead of having to use try catch. And then when we're done with this, for each. Okay, actually, this would be terribly wrong. Glad I took a look at that again. So what we want to do is go up to here and run that right there. And let's do if not, and what do we have here? It's like resolve, join, okay, join, resolve, and relative. Those are the three. And alphabetically, relative should come next. There we go. Boom. Okay. So now I've updated this to have an unsafe. Let me go ahead and run the tests again. Oh, good. Everything passes. Excellent. So I didn't break anything. And then we'll say path use with promises if you prefer, not async, just makes error handling easier via .catch. Not actually async. There we go. Promises. And then we could do this. catch. Gives empty string rather than throwing error. No, let's say give empty string rather than throwing error. Actually, that's the kind of thing that, again, could maybe just go into an option for this. But I think it should throw and it should get caught. So, path.unsafe.join. Unsafe as an alias to require path. Does not throw error. Okay, nothing too crazy here. But I did the updates I wanted to do. I think I'm going to put up an issue just saying like, hey, would be cool, the promises version to have a strict option that checks real path. In fact, I'm going to put basically what I just said in here. So path.js, this would be a feature enhancement. There we go. Okay. Presently, it's possible to have unsafe symlinks, and the type of people who aren't aware as to whether or not they might be using them are probably better off to have fs.realPath, whoops, check. Let's see. Resolves the path before thinking it's safe. This would be a breaking API change and would require a v2, which is promises only. There we go. And this is a minor change because I'm adding a new feature that wasn't here before. I'm adding path.unsafe. Actually, you know what? Let me go back to this real quick. Where's my path.unsafe? Duh. Problem solved there. Okay, cool. And then we have I should show this as well. There we go. I don't know how useful that is, actually. Maybe this is all in vain. We'll see. Okay. Well, I had an idea. For better or for worse, I implemented it. All right, path.unsafe. I should put that in there for good measure. Cool. Alrighty. Let's add the README. What did I actually do here? It's probably stupid. I probably shouldn't have done it. Probably should have just left it what it was. I like the unsafe though. Okay, that's really all I did. I just made a couple lines of changes. Okay, yeah, that's all good. The actual code. Just a little defensive programming there. Unsafe. Cool. Add unsafe. Make prettier. Git commit shim make prettier. Cool. And then npm version, this would be minor. And that's the main thing that happened there. Let's double check the tests one more time. Tests are passing. All right. And then let's go ahead and push this. Git push tags. And then I'll get ready to npm push this as well. Npm publish. And voila. Okay. Now let's see about explaining this. So I think just to keep things simple, I'm going to do a little clappy do and then edit this in post to post this as a separate segment also, but I'll keep it in here for those of you that decide to watch this. Alrighty. So let me clappity clap clap. I'll get rid of this stuff here. I don't need to worry about this. All right. Well, hello, and welcome. I'm AJ O'Neill, and I want to tell you a little bit about this module at Root Path. So hopefully it's pretty self-evident what it is. It's a clone of the native, well, it's not a clone, it's a wrapper around the native node path, except that it will throw exceptions when the result of joining, resolving, or relativing a path leads to something that is outside of the base path. So base path being the first argument here is the base path. If the base path plus the additional paths because both join and resolve allow additional paths, ends up in a dot dot. Basically, it doesn't check dot dot, it checks what it actually resolves to. And I did that because I had a discussion with someone that had some concerns about the dot dot not working, or certain special characters having special meaning on certain file systems, and that just checking for a dot dot slash in the file name is not good enough. So it checks what it actually resolves, and that the prefix of the result of, so if you take path.resolve of foo, and then you take path.resolve of path.join foo and bar, or whatever, if the prefix plus a slash, so that it doesn't match similar files, so say you have a folder foo and a folder foobar, you wouldn't want the prefix that matches foo to match foobar, so it has an extra slash in there. But basically it just makes sure that the prefixes, when they are joined and resolved, match, and then it hands you back whatever the result was if it doesn't throw an error. So it doesn't give you the result of the resolve unless you're actually calling resolve, but it gives you the result of the join or the relative or whatever it was as it was given back. But it just throws an error if there's any security concern there. Also, as a convenience, there is a path.unsafe.join, which will allow you to get the unsafe version. This was not throw an error. In fact, path.unsafe equals require path. So it is literally just an alias, another way of referencing path, so that you don't have to have two path variables, like call one unsafe path and the other path or whatever. You just have one that you can deal with. And then also it's provided with promises, not because it's async, because it's not async, not in this current form, although there may be a v2 that uses fs.realpath. That's one caveat that I mentioned right here, which I'll just mention real quick. So this does not check what the symlinks, if any, resolve to. It checks what the string path resolves to. So this is all happening synchronous anyway. But I added the promises bit because sometimes it's just nicer to do a dot catch than it is to do a try catch. And so if you require the promises, you can still get the unsafe, and you can get the regular, but they're all promisified so that you can use dot catch when you want to. So other than that, like I said, there's only kind of three things here: path.join, path.resolve, path.relative, that are special, and you get just a bunch of examples of what this looks like and what will succeed and what will throw, what's good, what's bad. And then just for fun, you've got links to the node documentation for all of these same things down here, just because all of them are on the path object because they're copied over for convenience. But the only ones that are changed are join, relative, and resolve, as stated previously. And I don't think there's anything else that we need to concern ourselves with at the present time. So happy safe pathing. Oh, I was going to mention there are tests. So there are tests, and the test tests a lot of the things that are in the README. So what you see right here is I just have a little bit of helper function that if there was not an error, so reject means if there was not an error, then throw an error. So it's expecting an error. If it gets an error, then it passes. If it doesn't get an error, then it fails. This pass is just to pass through. It should have maybe been called through instead of pass, but just so that you can catch, the error can be caught. And then this is just a pattern for ensuring that there's an error, because you want to catch the error, you want to pass the error through, and then if the type of value that you get is not an error value, then you want to throw again. So it's just kind of a way to ensure. And then all of this is being done with the try catch bit, just because it's easier to write this code. It looks nicer. So it's the same, the promises code and the other code, same code, just I don't have to have a bunch of try catch, try catch, try catch, try catch. I just get to have dot catch, dot then. And I get to put the conditions as a function rather than putting them in try catch blocks. So that's it. And then live means that it should not get an error. It should. So if I was going to rename these, I would call this through, I'd call this reject, and I'd call this resolve probably. But anyway, yeah, so we just have all these different cases here of different ways of doing things with different numbers of dots and stuff like that. And if it gets all the way to the end and everything that was expected to throw an error throws an error and everything that was expected to succeed succeeds, then the test pass. So very simple test scenario, very easy if you wanted to come in and add a test that you felt was missing, although I think that I got all of the permutations that are important and even somewhat redundant in the way that I'm doing the permutations. But yeah, so the tests are there. And if I come out with a V2 of this, which comment if you believe that that would be really useful, what I would do is the V2 would be promises only, and it would use fs.realPath to resolve both the base path and the result path to make sure that their prefixes do not have some sort of symlink misdirection, that they end up in the same hierarchy even following symlinks. That's the one thing that I think could be improved upon this, but is kind of more of a niche case. I'm not sure how much it would be necessary. So again, comment if that is something that you would like. And with that all said, thanks for watching. Go ahead and give a like if this was useful for you. If you want to watch my other videos, check down in the doobly-doo. There are links to the live channel, the Beyond Code channel, and my Morning Shower Thoughts channel, which is just life stuff. And hit me up with any questions or comments that you have, and I'll catch you later. Adios. Okay, I hit the right hat key that time. I really did. Come on.